Hi friends. If you're looking to take your round kick to the next level, to take it from okay or pretty good to vicious, this is the video for you. First, I want you to imagine a baseball player with a bat getting ready to swing. Now, I'm not a baseball player, but when a baseball player swings a bat, they can generate a huge amount of energy because they start on one side of their body, they rotate their torso, and they strike the ball with the bat as the bat makes this huge arc. That's kind of what you do with your round kick. And all the bells and whistles, the pivot, the knee pointing, all that stuff really serves to let you rotate your body. And that rotation is found in the hips. Tip number 1 has to do with the pivot. What I want you to think about is the muscles on the side of your hip and the role they play in opening the leg. This is a little used part of the kick. So what I do to practice, I lift my toes or I lift my heel, and then I activate these muscles as quickly as I can and open by pointing my toes out and away from my other leg. Okay? You know you're doing it wrong if your toes point in toward the standing leg. So practice that pivot. Pull with these muscles. One of the things that allows you to do is lift the knee and turn the hips at the last minute for your round kick. That's one of the power multipliers for this kick. All right, thing number 2 is about the power source, the turning of the hips. Remember, that baseball player hitting the ball, their axis or their point of rotation is in the center of their shoulders. Wow! And because of that big turn, that strike with the bat is super powerful. We want our hips to be able to do that turn here. So I have to pivot to make that happen. But when I'm able to pivot and roll my hips over quick, I can generate power for that kick. So think about the hips cutting through, specifically this point on the kicking leg hip. As I come up for that kick, I rotate through and I imagine cutting all the way past my target. If my target isn't there, then I'm just going to the line of my target. I'm coming up, extending, and returning, and back. If I am hitting something, I imagine swinging through, kind of like that baseball bat. All right, thing number 3 is what you do with the foot on the kicking leg. This is something I was never attuned to until I started at this wonderful dojo with my current teacher. He says to use the cuneiform bone. That bone is this sort of wedge-shaped bit right here on the foot. So if I use my whole foot, it spreads out the impact over a larger surface. It won't hurt my target as much. If I hit with a narrow wedge-shaped bone, I concentrate all of that impact or all of that force on a much narrower impact surface. Imagine being hit by a pillow, poof, or a spear with the same amount of power, right? The narrower surface area will kill. So use the cuneiform bone, especially if you're doing this sort of version of the kick, the pointed toe, what I used to call the slap kick in my original dojang. I'll give you one more tidbit that'll hopefully be really helpful for you. This has to do with the alignment, where you start the kick. So when I make my guard, I want to know what my center line is, right in the middle of my body. My guard happens to have about shoulder width distance between the feet. So right in the middle of my feet or right in the center of my body, and I point that at my target. You might have a different guard in your style. That's cool. You might have to adjust for it a little bit, but we're gonna work with mine since I'm making the video. So, as I said in number 2, when we turn the hips, I'm thinking about my target and I'm thinking of my hips cutting through it, okay? So, if I'm kicking in the air, I extend to that point, I keep a straight line from my foot out up to my head, and then I return. If I'm kicking a pad, same target, I want my base foot to be on one side, on the far side, and I want my kicking leg to be on the opposite side. So as I kick, I have the ability to start with open hips and to close them through the target. So I come up and I try to continue to pull my hips through that pad, okay? That's the alignment that gives me the best bang for my buck. There are other things you can do to make it even better, but that's how I like to start. All right, these are some of the things that are super helpful for my students that I found really helpful for my own kicking practice, so I hope you find them helpful too. If you did, maybe share them with someone who could benefit from it. Toss me a subscription, and also let me know what you'd like to see next, if there's anything you'd like help with, or if you have any comments. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope to see you in the next video.